Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning. So happy to welcome our friend Allie Bussey from Visit Canton. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's always exciting as we're starting a new month now.
I know.
March.
Think spring.
Then we're thinking spring.
We're thinking spring.
So you always come with so many things happening. So let's just start there. Tell us how to plan our month.
Oh, I would love to. Well, I always start off every conversation with, everything we're going to talk about today, because there's a lot. You can always find on our website, visitcanton.com. That's the best place to get in-depth information because things are always updating and shaking and people are adding stuff every day. But, for us, starting tomorrow, is First Friday,
Yay!
Which is always one of my favorites.
Yes.
And it's a scavenger hunt theme, which I don't think they've ever done before. So I'm very excited to see how this is going to go.
What a great idea. I'm
For
surprised
the family,
we've
I love
never
it.
done that before.
I know.
What do you know so far about it?
Well, I don't know a lot because I think that that's the intent is
Right.
that, you'll go down there and they'll help you move throughout the downtown into all the businesses to find whatever those clues may be. So I'm excited to learn along with you.
I'm excited too. What's fun about that, it might take us into some of the galleries that we don't usually go into because I'll confess, you have your favorites. I have my favorites, and I tend to go there, and I tend to go to my favorite restaurants. And so this might introduce us to some new neat things.
I think
down
that
there.
that's probably part of the engineering of why they do it. And then, of course, accompanying First Friday, the Palace always has a free movie that evening.
Yes.
And it's always family friendly, and it's going to be Trolls, the new Trolls movie.
Oh, my goodness, how fun.
Yeah.
What
which is
time will that start out?
That will start at 7 o'clock, I
Okay.
believe. And I always have to consult visitcanton.com
But you can go to visitcanton.com
to
make
help
sure.
me.
Yeah.
I believe it
But
starts
Trolls will be the movie, totally free for families.
totally free for families. That really is a really jam-packed arts weekend because on Saturday then is Smart Splash, which takes place, which is a kids event, which
Yes.
is free. That takes place. It's 7:30. I'm sorry,
Okay.
7:30.
Well, if you go at 7, you'll get a really good seat.
That's right. Well, yeah,
So
with the
that's
free
okay.
movie, you might want to go a little
That's
bit
right.
early.
Wouldn't
we're
be-
giving you helpful tips
Yes.
as well.
Always.
And they have excellent popcorn, so make sure you take money for popcorn and soda.
And really fun water that's in a square bottle, which I love. So
Yes, I have seen that.
Yes, it's really cool. So tell us about Smart Splash.
So Smart Splash takes place at the Canton Cultural Center. And what we love about it is it's a free event. We love to be able to have things for our local families to get out and do. Especially, I think a lot of us have had cabin fever. We got a little bit spoiled in the past week or so with some little flirting with some light temperatures. But now it's back to winter, it seems like.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but wasn't it good? And
it is good.
Let me just ask you this: how does that affect tourism when we hit those zeros and really bad snowy days? What does that do to you?
Actually, it really, of course, it does stop a lot of the traffic. A lot of times what people are coming for in our, what I would call our off months or our lighter months are event-based. So this past weekend, swimming and diving is at the natatorium, the OHSAA Football Championship Swimming and Diving. So that brings in families from all over Ohio who spend the entire weekend here. So they're coming here, whether it's 0 or 70.
Right.
We're very fortunate. But for that family that might have just been looking for, hey, let's get out of the house for the day. Let's drive over to Stark County to go to Hartville or to, head into the Maslin Museum, another free location who always has, great things going on. That kind of puts a little bit of a damper on it. So, of course, weather is, something we always are very, we keep a close eye on. But we have so many fantastic events that happen whether the weather is good or bad that helps us keep that traffic strong.
You have to think in terms of lots of different audiences because you do have that family that's just looking for something to do.
Yep.
But then I bet a lot of what you do is trying to attract the bigger groups like those audiences, which, of course, if it's mom, dads, and grandmas and grandpas coming to watch your child dive, they're going to be there no matter what.
Exactly.
But then like conventions and things like that, don't you have to work on maybe trying to get larger groups to hold their event here?
Yes.
How does that
so
happen?
What we do most, majority of the time, obviously leisure guests, which I would call, you and I, if we were going someplace with our family, we're what I would consider a leisure tourist. And we do have, thousands and thousands of those guests a year. But a huge, what we're very involved in on the day-to-day is securing that specific sporting tournament, convention, meeting, association retreat, all sorts of different size groups from 20 to 20,000 of things where people were trying to bring into the door. And, obviously we financially use a lot of our budget to support big events. A lot of people don't realize that, most times if you're trying to secure a big event, it takes dollars to do that in the forms of sponsor support or even bid support. Sometimes when you even bid on large sporting events, you have to have a monetary value assigned to that. There's actually a cost to submit bids to try to get these big events here.
So that's so interesting. Yeah, there's more to it than meets the eye, isn't there?
It really is.
Well, and I also wonder, does the more you have to do when they're having downtime at their event, does that help you sell us?
It very much does. It very much does. And that's that's what makes this whole thing so competitive. So, often when we're bidding against multiple other cities, for example, when we were awarded the NCAA Division III football that will be here in 2020,
right?
We're up against awesome other communities too. So you have to really lead with what sets you apart. So we were very fortunate. We have, the Pro Football Hall of Fame in this instance that really kind of helped elevate our chances.
Sure.
But it's different. Like the mix is different for every event. It's like a cake, and it's a little bit of a different recipe every time depending on who the event is, what they're looking for. And there's a group for everything. We've had, major quilting groups and scrapbookers groups, cattle convention. We've had 3 national cattle conventions in the past 3 years. Did you even know there was like an association for people that own certain types of cattle?
Types of cattle?
Yes. So we've had Jersey cows, we've had Holstein cows, and Guernsey cows.
So you're talking about 3 different kinds of
3
cattle.
different kinds. We think in our office, we've determined that they must talk to each other.
The word spread.
Like the word spread, like Stark County is great for cow conventions.
It's where it's at, yeah. Well, and then I'm just stunned hearing this. So, none of us knows what we don't know. How in the world did you find out that there were cattle conventions?
It's fascinating because we go out to lots of different types of trade shows. So just like you might go to a trade show for your type of work to find whatever it is that you're looking for your work, we're going out to talk to meeting planners, events rights holders, group tour operators who run the big motor coach companies.
Oh, yes.
And we sit down, and it's much like speed networking or, matchmaking, where you sit down in an appointment, they tell you what you're looking for, you make your pitch, and you say, I think your group would be a great fit in Stark County because of X, Y, and Z. And it's all about getting to know them, because we go in with the mindset, let us ask you what you need instead of us just forcing information on you.
Right. That's a good way to start.
Yeah. So we can match you with the experience. Because if you think about what makes Stark County so unique and beautiful is the diversity of experience. You have everything from, the tip of Amish country to our south, the northern part of Amish country.
Good for quilters.
Yes, very much so. And then with a very similar experience up in Hartville, it's a very wholesome experience that everyone loves. And you have the sports. We have lots of sports. We have urban with our downtowns and their great vibrant art scene and, historical attractions. So depending on what the group is, we get a lot of military reunions.
Sure.
We have Maps Air Museum. So, it's just like there's something... You just
everyone.
Put people in their right puzzle. It's like a puzzle, putting people where they go.
So in that sense, you have the easiest job in the world, because who could possibly beat us on things like that? You really do have a good match for no matter who you would sit down across.
We believe that. And that we feel so fortunate, because our partners are really what make this work, because I don't control any of these places. I only control the message that I am speaking to. So having a really great partner behind us, that when we come home and say, hey, Maps Air Museum, we have a great lead on a military reunion. They need this, 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 and this. Can you do it? You know what? They're always great. All of our partners are so great and say, yes, how can we make this work for our community? And that's what truly is special about Stark County. And people tell us all the time, oftentimes, everyone brings money to the table most of the time. It's not always the money that makes the decision. It's the service, the authenticity, the experience, and we win on that so much, hands down, that's what makes me most proud.
That's so awesome. And it's only going to be getting better because we're at a time in this area where a rising tide is about to lift all of the boats. Do you agree?
I completely agree. And, I know that during Hall of Fame week, I think people kind of feel it. They kind of feel that there's so many 4,500 volunteers from throughout all our communities kind of take place. But think about that. And what other community could you rally 4,500 volunteers who take their week of vacation off work to give their time to do all of these different events? Like, that's really special. And I hope that people look as fondly on what makes us our spirit of giving and showing people our pride. That's what makes Stark County so incredibly special when we host any type of event, whether it's a First Friday that the public's just coming to, or a military reunion, or NCAA championship, or the Ohio football championship, or swimming and diving, any of the above. Our service and our compassion and our people are what make the difference.
You have to keep up on then every possible thing that is opening as it happens.
We try. We're not always successful. We really do try.
Has something stayed off your radar for a while and then you found it and went, oh my goodness, I didn't know we had a cat museum in Alliance? Those kinds of things.
Sometimes, what gets us the most would probably be restaurants. I think the attractions we typically don't miss as much. It seems like restaurants, those pop up more often and kind of all over the place. So that's hard for us to keep tabs on sometimes. But usually, social media has helped with that a lot, because oftentimes nowadays it seems like things pop up on social media even before like the internet.
Oh, that's true. But before their websites.
Yeah. So, case in point, the way we found there's a great new restaurant that just opened in downtown Canton called Streetside Cantina.
Oh.
It's a Mexican, like a modern Mexican restaurant. And they have really cool tacos and bowls and really yummy. I mean, it's very yummy. And they I came across their Facebook page before I even knew that they had a website or anything like. So I would have never found, and that's how we all work. We have people that are always looking, and partners tell us, and did you know so-and-so is opening this? Or
just really good for anybody who wonders if social media is valuable. There you go.
Right.
Because people are finding Facebook pages before they ever go to a website. And here's a little trick for anybody wanting to open a restaurant. Hashtag it Visit Canton right away, and then you'll get on Allie's radar.
Amen. That's exactly what we tell you, because it's impossible for us. We try, and we always want to help you, but we need a little bit of help too. We're only at an office of 9 people for the entire county, and we need you to help us. We give you all the services you need. You just need to fill out your forms and send us your pictures and tag us in your social media, all those things you just mentioned, so that we can help you.
So not a bad job having to try out all the restaurants in town.
Not a bad job. It could be much worse.
There are worse ways to make a living.
There are.
Any other gems that we need to know about that maybe we don't, that you think, what's kind of hidden, kind of in a corner?
Oh, there are so many gems. You know what? Right now that's happening in Alliance, the Beach Creek Botanical Garden.
Yes.
I love that place. And they are doing, during the winter months, they do bird in hand, where you can feed, like your children or adults, anyone can feed the little chickadee birds out of your hand. And it's really sweet. And that is it's free to walk the trails there. It has a very modest entry price if you're going to do any of their, other activities. And then in the summer months, it's a botanical garden, and it has a butterfly house.
Oh, we've done that. It's amazing.
It's so amazing having the butterflies land all over you. On accident, I accidentally left the door open the very first time when they first opened, and I didn't realize that the door didn't close tight, and a bunch of butterflies flew out, and I felt really, really bad. But they've let me back. So.
Yeah, okay. And I'm sure the butterflies all went back in there, because it's a good life for them.
I hope so. I sure hope so. That's what I tell myself.
I have the most adorable photos of my grandchildren holding butterflies, and when they just land
on your face. And they love your nose, the tips of your nose.
Yes.
And it's so,
and the little sugar Q-tips, and oh my goodness.
It's so neat.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Just really before meeting you, I took a friend who has never been to the Hartville hardware store. She's never seen it. So I left her there. She's still there having a wonderful time.
She's living in the idea house.
Exactly. She was like, this is amazing for ideas. And I was like, well, I got to go, but you continue to have a good time.
That's another huge success story. I mean, obviously, they bring over 2 million guests a year to their complex. And the Hartville Marketplace is undergoing a really neat renovation right now.
Really?
Yes. They are updating the whole interior.
Oh.
And it will look, when it's finished, kind of like you're strolling down a street of outdoor shops. You know, it kind of has like that more facade of you're walking through with outdoor shops, even though you're still inside. So kind of like that Easton vibe in Columbus. Not quite, but you know what I mean, where you look like you're outside, but you're actually inside.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
And that'll be nice when it's super hot and you do want to be inside in the air conditioning.
Air conditioned, beautiful restroom facilities, paved parking. Where else can you flea market like that?
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
We, of course, our time is fleeing. We're going to need to take a short break, but we're visiting with Allie Bussey from Visit Canton. We'll be back after these words. You're listening to Our Community.